Hello chess friends and welcome to your Out of Chess channel and welcome to really one of the most dynamic games that I've seen in the last couple of weeks. We have here Stockfish 15 against another top engine Rebel in a beautiful Russian game in the so-called Petrov defense. And the Petrov defense, when I started to play chess, was really one of the most annoying openings that I really didn't want to play against because I played simply too many drawish lines. I really didn't like the fact that the game is transposing into the symmetrical structures where you don't have so many attacking chances. And I think the worst feeling in chess that you can get is when you play a boring game and then you lose it. And then you lose it with the white pieces. I think it's really the worst case that you can get in chess. I really love to play, for instance, against the Sicilian. And maybe I lost some games against the Sicilian with the white pieces, but at least I created some attacking chances. I played maybe some tactical ideas. Maybe the ideas were wrong, but at least I had a feeling that I attacked something. But sometimes in the Petrov, I really didn't have any feelings that I'm attacking anything. I just played the game, lost it, and without any attacking opportunities. I think really one of the worst feelings that you can get in chess. So when I watch now this game played by Stockfish against Rebel, I changed my mind a little bit here again for white, because how Stockfish is playing any opening is really beautiful, is so dynamic, and Stockfish creates really unbalanced pawn structures, which is really important to create dynamics in the game. And I think this game will also change your mind about the pattern of defense, because it can be so beautiful. It has so many dirty tactical ideas. So be prepared. This is now simply chess from another dimension. This is now a different kind of the pattern of defense. So let's see now the game. Stockfish versus Rebel. In the Russian game, Stockfish opened with the move e4. Rebel's response was e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, and now basically you have two choices here from white's perspective. You can of course play the move knight to e5, but it leads now again into this symmetrical position after d6. Of course, look at this, the pawn on e4 will be also taken, so we would then have a pawn symmetry. Here we would have 4 pawns against 3 pawns on the king side, but the pawn structure is symmetrical. That's now the most important thing. So here after move d4 that Stockfish played, this creates really an unbalanced pawn structure, an asymmetrical pawn structure, which is very important if you want to play maybe a more dynamic game. Because after move d4, Rebel took knight to e4, and we have now d takes e5, and look at this now. Now we have a symmetrical position where we have 4 versus 3 here on the king side, and 3 versus 4 on the queen side, which creates of course an unbalanced position, which creates of course a new attacking chances. So in the continuation, d5 was played by Rebel. Stockfish continues with knight to d2, creates a pressure against the knight on e4, knight takes d2, bishop to d2, and now you see c5, and this is now a beautiful dynamic position. Look at this. So the knight is very powerful on the king side, the pawn on e5 is very powerful. Black has also great chances. Look at this on the queen side, the c5 pawn and the d5 pawn are rolling here. They're creating also dynamics. So it's a really beautiful, sharp tactical game in the beginning, and I really love the fact that Stockfish went into this line, not into this boring symmetrical line. So here the continuation, bishop to g5, hitting the queen, queen to a5, c3, bishop to e6, bishop to d3, normal development, queen to c7, continuing the pressure against this weak pawn on e5. In the continuation, castling by Stockfish, and after knight to c6, rook to e1, of course protecting now the pawn on e5. Rebel continues with h6, bishop to h4 wasn't played here in the game. This would be very risky, because if white continues like this, then g5 is going to happen. Bishop to g3, and now after queenside castling by black, black is already on the attacking side. I think here black should be much better, especially because of the fact that g4, h5, h4 is going to happen. So black is much faster on the attack, because we would have this opposite side attack game where black king is on the queen side, white king is on the king side, and who is faster on the attack, as I always like to say, will probably win the game. And now with this pawn storm on the king side, black is already on the attacking side. So from this point on, actually black is taking over. So be careful when you get challenged like this, because your opponent could use his pawns in order to make further progress. I'm not saying your bishop gets trapped, but it's a different story. Your opponent gets simply his continuation of the pressure on the king side by pushing your bishop all over the board. So that's why Stockfish went to this line, bishop to e3. We have now queenside castling, and you'll see now this becomes now again this beautiful opposite side attack game where we have kings on opposite sides, and who is faster, as I said, on the attack will probably win the game. But there is a very important rule that you have to apply when you're playing this kind of structures, when you're playing this kind of positions. The rule is that you sometimes have to give up material. You don't count pawns anymore. The most important strategic concept here is just to open files and diagonals. Don't count your pawns here because it's not so necessary here. It's just necessary here to open the position as much as you can. Even if you sacrifice 1, 2, 3 pawns, you have still many pieces that could attack here the queen side. So the bishops are targeting there. You have to open maybe the B file, you have to open maybe the C file, but you don't count pawns. So that's why Stockfish plays now the most aggressive move B4. Although the B4 is 3 times covered here by the bishop, by the knight, and also by the pawn, but it doesn't matter. We want to open the c file, and that's now the way to go. This is really a very important method that you have to use in these types of positions. So in the continuation, c takes b4, Stockfish continues with rook to c1. We have now here b takes c3 by Rebel. If you try maybe some ideas of b3, for instance, if you're trying to lock the position and you're trying to keep the files locked, maybe you're trying to b file to be locked and also the c file. Actually, after a takes b3, d4, it's not working. Look at the c takes d4 is getting open again. Even if you try maybe something like bishop to g4, pitting maybe the knight, and maybe you're trying to trap the pawn on e5. Look at this, what happens. We play h3, bishop to f3, queen to f3. Okay, you have your fun with one tempo, but now after queen to f5 check, look at this, what can happen. Rook to a1, hitting the pawn here on a7, and now after, look at this, knight to d3, you're losing the game. Bishop to a7 is going to happen, and then followed with bishop to b6, and it's game over. So really, you don't have even time, as we said here, to play b3 to lock somehow the files. Here in the continuation, b takes c3 was played by Rebel, and Stockfish plays a very important move, knight to d4, which is not allowing, of course, the c3 pawn to get connected with the d4 pawn. If that happens, if these pawns would be connected together, then they're rolling again, and this could be very dangerous. So far, Stockfish plays a blockade, and as we said, although you lost some material, but at least white is now on the attacking side. So like in this game before, in the line before that we have seen, as we said, when the bishop got pushed all over the board with the move g5, then black was on the attacking side. Now, although, as I said, you lost some material, but now look at this, how Stockfish is dismantling, how Stockfish is destroying this position now. So here, queen to a5 was played by the Rebel. Even if you play bishop to b4, maybe to hang on to your pawn on c3, this is not good, because look at this, queen is coming into game, you have to step back. Now we chase the bishop a little bit after bishop, knight takes d4, bishop to d4. You could try b6, but look at this, rook to c2, rook to b1, and again, white is on the attacking side. We have even some tactics with queen to a5, which is possible. Bishop is targeting here, so really too much pressure here simply against black's king. So this could be, of course, a devastating position. So after move knight to d4, we have here queen to a5, knight takes c6, b takes c6, bishop to d4. Again, this blockade idea. c5 is here not working because bishop to c3 is going to happen. It comes with the tempo. The queen is coming into the game, the bishop is coming into the game, the b file is open again. 4-5 pieces could, of course, attack here the queen side. So after move bishop to d4, we have king to d7 here by Rebel. Rebel is trying to escape now towards the king side. Even if you play bishop to b4 here, maybe you can hang on to this pawn for a little bit, but now after a3, again, the bishop gets deflected, bishop to c3, bishop to b4, we take, and rook to c6 again creates tactical madness here in front of black's king. So this is not working. After bishop to d4, Rebel tried to escape, but is also connecting the king to the c6 pawn, which was very important. The c6 pawn was always a little bit loose here on the c file. So bishop to c3 anyway, bishop to b4, bishop takes, queen to c2, hitting the pawn on c6, and now Rebel, it seems so that black is defending here with the move rook to c8, but now comes again the beautiful attacking style by Stockfish. Stockfish continues, first of all, of course, with the move rook to b1, queen to a5, h4. We have the move c5, and now bishop to b5 first to check, king to d8, and now f4, f5 is now the serious threat. Here in continuation, we have now the move a6 by Rebel, kicking away the bishop, and Stockfish plays now the stunner of the game, bishop to c4. Really wild stuff. Let's see if you ignore this move. In the game, d takes c4 was played, but let's see if you try to get away your king here somewhere, maybe towards the king side. Actually, this is not working because White is continue with this plan. F5, then we play E6. Look at this, you have to step back. We can even let the pawn roll here to F6. As I said, you don't count pawns, you just want to open the position from the king. G takes F6, the queen is coming in again. Look at this, queen to F6. So it's of course game over here for black. So after move bishop to C4, D takes C4 was played by Rebel. F5 anyway. We have bishop to D7. E6, the pawns are rolling here. After bishop to B5, we have E takes F7. Here rook to D1 actually would be a huge mistake. Many of us would play, for instance, this move. E takes F7 was of course the correct move by Stockfish. After rook to D1, king to C7, then you could maybe try to push the pawn, but look at this, with king to B8 and the rook to E8, black is controlling the potential progress of white on the E file with 3 pieces, has of course the extra bishop, and this should be of course defendable. So that's why E takes F7 the correct move. We have now the move C3 by Rebel, and now queen to D1, the king has to step back. We have now king to C7, and now a beautiful stunning move here by Stockfish, A4. This is the way to go. This move is really hard to proceed here. What's going on? Because many of us wouldn't even dare to play this move. Would maybe try some kind of an attack here on the king side. But actually, A4 is so beautiful. For instance, if bishop to A4 happens, then you get this one. You get checkmated because now the B file is open. The king cannot escape here through the B file. You have to play something like this. And now after queen to D7, the game is over. You're getting checkmated. So for instance, if you play queen to A4 here, then rook to E7 is going to happen anyway. Now we have to step back. We can play this one, queen to D7 again. The king has to step back. Queen to B7. The king has to go here, even to the square A5. And now we play a beautiful move, rook to E4. This is really, really dirty. For instance, you play C4, and now we play rook to E6. We are threatening again here a checkmate on B6. For instance, you try this kind of an idea. You're trying maybe to escape with the queen here to A3 and creating maybe yourself some kind of an escape route. Now we play queen to B6 anyway, and look at this. After king to A4, you have even this stunner, queen sacrifice, queen to A6, bishop to A6, and rook to A6 leads now into beautiful, beautiful checkmate sequence. So really, really wild stuff. As I said, after rook to E4, there's nothing that can be done. You can play C4, rook to E6. You could even try here this kind of an idea. Rook to B8 is of course also not working. First you get the check with this one. You have to now cover, and now again after queen to B6, the game is over. So you cannot get out of this mess. So that was our analysis after bishop to A4 or queen to A4. Both of these moves are not working. So that's why after move A4, here the Rebel engine tried a counterattack with the move rook to D8, but now a beautiful move again by Stockfish. Stockfish promotes a new queen. For instance, if you pick up now the queen here on F8, the game is over again. You're getting destroyed again on the 7th rank. You have to step back. Now we pick up the bishop. If you take out here, then the queen is coming into the game again, and you check, and you're getting checkmated on B7. So again, this is not working. So after move F8, the promotion, Rebel took here the queen on D1, not the queen on F8. We have now first a check, king to queen takes G7, rook to D7. Now a new check by Stockfish, king to B7, and now finally A takes B5, and after A takes B5, the tactical brutal sequence is now over. But Stockfish has now a very important strategic element here. It's now the passer on the F file, which is much more, which is much easier for white to push further. Although black has here 3 connected pawns, but black's king is always naked, it's vulnerable to some checks, and white is simply continuing pressure. So in the game, queen to E4 was played by Stockfish. We have now king to B8. Now Stockfish proceeds with F6, queen to B6. We have queen to F5, rook to D8, trying to make some kind of a progress, and Stockfish just pushes the pawn here to F7, and from this point on, the game is over. In the game, C2 was played by Rebel, rook to C1 here by Stockfish, and after move C4, king to H1, rook to D4 was played, attacking the pawn on H4, and actually after move queen to H5 in this position, Rebel even resigned. So why did black resign? Let's see possible continuation. You can play maybe rook to D1. This is not good. Rook takes, queen takes here, rook takes, and queen takes D1. This seems like a logical idea that you go into the sequence because it simplifies the game enough. But actually, after move queen to d1, you could maybe try queen to f6, but now with queen to h5, okay, black could make a couple of checks, but never perpetuals. With queen to f3, we are protecting ourselves. You can maybe try just one more check, and after g4, we're just pushing the pawn further. There's no good defense after of this move f8. So really wild stuff. So let's go back. After moves queen to h5, what you could do here is to play queen to d6, maybe lining up more pieces on the d file, controlling also the move f8. But now we can pick up here this pawn. That's not the main issue. And even if you try to play a blockade, then queen to b5 is going to happen. Look at this. The game is over. You're getting destroyed here. Even if you play here rook to d1, if you're trying maybe somehow to deliver some checkmate threats on the first rank, then we pick up again here the pawn on b5. King to c7 leads into disaster after rook to c4. Even if you escape here to the a file, again rook to a2 is simply winning the game for white. So incredible game here by Stockfish in a beautiful Petrov defense. A really beautiful tactical lines we have seen. Immortal game. I was very surprised to see this kind of a dynamic game out of this Petrov defense. In my opinion, this is really a beautiful game that you could use as your cornerstone, as your starting position in order to get a better understanding of the Petrov defense, because as I said in the beginning, it's really one of the most annoying openings that you can play, and Stockfish dismantle it in such a brutal tactical way. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed it a lot, especially for a Sunday evening. I think it's a perfect game because probably everyone is bothered, everyone has to work tomorrow, so have fun maybe with this game. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot. And if you want to see maybe more of this brutal tactical games, check out my coverage of this beautiful commented chess games played by computers. So here's the link of our whole playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.